So the pelvic floor muscles sit exactly as where the name comes from, in the floor of our pelvis. So they come from the coccyx, which is just at the bottom of your spine, right at the bottom of your spine, to the pubic bone, which on us is just here, right at the front of our pelvis. If you pop your hands like that in a sort of kind of cup shape, that's sort of the size of our pelvic floor. So that's underneath us, and that's the sort of thing we're trying to think about when we're imagining our own pelvic floor, because sometimes it's hard when we can't see those muscles. So let's go through now how we practice these exercises. So we can all do it in sitting, is a lovely position to practice. First of all, what I'd like you to imagine is that you had some wind which you didn't want to pass out in public, okay? Where we've all been there, haven't we? And we think, oh gosh, I don't want to pass now. So that's this section of the pelvic floor on the model, okay? So just try now to think about just squeezing around the anus, which is your back passage. Think about holding wind. Just see if you can feel that, something moving around the back passage. Yeah? And he's looking a little confused. I know it's a bit of a funny thing to feel, isn't it?
Yeah, like I'm just clenching my butt and not my...
That's a lovely point, Annie. So it's very tempting when we say squeeze around our bottom to get our bottom cheeks working like that. And you're completely correct. That's not our pelvic floor. So it's a very common thing that we get wrong. Okay? So you always have to think, all right, relax everything. And just try and visualise, maybe thinking about the hands, okay, and thinking just around the back passage, thinking about holding wind. It's a very small contraction, and it'll feel like a bit of a squeeze around your back passage. And then we want to think about, as well as holding wind, we want to think about holding in urine as well. So that kind of, if you need to just stop yourself mid-flow, you'd think about squeezing more around the front. So on the model, that's this section here. So let's all try and do that now. So thinking, holding wind, holding urine, and then relax. Excellent. Now I must say the holding urine bit generally is a bit harder. So if you're finding that harder, that's very normal, okay? And you may struggle to feel it at all initially. A few little tips to help you would be to maybe get a little mirror and have a look and see if you can see the muscles around the vagina, so see the vagina kind of closing and relaxing. And that can sometimes be a nice little tip to help you find those muscles. But they do come, but as Annie pointed out so well, we don't want anything else to be moving. So really we should be able to look at you and think, I don't think they're actually doing anything, because we are completely still and it is just the pelvic floor that are moving. So it's not advised to be doing these exercises whilst we're sat on the toilet. Okay, so we don't want to be doing it whilst we're actually passing urine. It's a nice test, so something we would call the stop test, to see, can I use those muscles, or help you to identify the muscles if you're struggling to find them, okay? Lying and sitting are the easiest positions to start these exercises in if you've never done them before. And then going forward, standing is a bit more of a challenge, especially when you're pregnant.
I always thought that when you had to do pelvic floor exercises, you were just bringing the muscles in, letting go, bringing in, letting go, bringing in, letting go. I wasn't aware that you have to relax the muscle fully before you're bringing in again.
That's a lovely point.
You forget that it is an actual muscle and it does need to relax before you're jumping straight back in there exercising it.
It's very tempting once we do these exercises to think, I'll squeeze, I'll flicker really quickly, and then I'll let go. So completely squeeze and completely let it go. It's good to imagine as well that we're not lifting up towards our heads. That's what's sometimes very tempting to think when we're squeezing in, that we're squeezing in and upwards. But that's not the correct way to do it. We want to think about squeezing forwards. So you're squeezing from the back passage forwards to the pubic bone. Okay, and there are two different types. Okay, so there are the quicker ones, as we've talked about. So we're just squeezing and then we relax. Squeeze, relax, and we'd encourage you to do 10 in a row. We'd then encourage you to again work on that endurance. So we're trying to hold that muscle. Okay, so we do exactly the same contraction, holding wind, holding urine, but then we would try and hold for up to 10 seconds. Okay, so we're going to try that now together. Now, the important thing here again is that we do not hold our breath. Okay, so we sometimes can go squeeze and at the end when we relax, but it's all about coordination with our breathing. So let's all try again. So we're going to think about holding wind, holding urine, and keep that squeezing. okay? As you breathe in and out, keep that you don't have to overwork the breathing, just breathe normally and keep thinking about holding those muscles working. We might have already feel like they've maybe switched off, and then we let it all go. You just work within your ability at the moment, okay? You haven't got to push it for 10 seconds if you don't feel you can control it for 10 seconds. But if you've been practicing a little bit, you may be able to do 10 seconds. And that's what we're aiming for. Like any program, when we want to get stronger, we build it up. So the ideal would be 10 of the quicker ones where there's no hold, 10 where we're holding for 10 seconds with the breathing control, 3 times a day minimum.
I usually do it while I'm brushing my teeth.
Lovely, great.
Because then I'll always remember.
That's 2 times a day at least.
Yeah, I've been doing it 2 times a day, but it's good to have the advice to do it 3 times a day.
Pelvic floor is for life. It's not just for pregnancy. And all ages of women, we should all be doing them. Myself not being pregnant, I should be doing them. And it's really important for during pregnancy as well.